LAFCO meeting, March 14, 2019. Yes.
It's very vibrant.
This group
Lot of
says
trees
we're here.
and stuff.
All right.
The area where I really like is like condensed all
I'll call the meeting to order. And we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join. Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Okay, Commissioner Wieskamp?
Oh, turn your mic on.
Oh, sorry. Commissioner Wieskamp?
But in time to protect us.
Okay, roll call. Commissioner Wieskamp?
Here.
Commissioner Haggerty? Commissioner Marchand?
Here.
Commissioner Splendorio?
Here.
Commissioner Thorne? Oh, he couldn't be here today. Commissioner Miley? Commissioner Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Halbert? Commissioner Valle? Commissioner Van Heer Leopold?
Here.
Commissioner Pico?
Here.
Do we have any public comment requests? No. All right, then we will move on. Approval of the minutes for January 10th, regular meeting. Any changes?
Move approval.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is the budget item update for 2018, 2019, and the year-end projection. Projection. My cough drop is getting in the way.
Understood. I'm a little sick too.
Okay.
But thank you, Chair. So this item is for the Commission to receive an updated comparison of budgeted to actual expenses and revenues through the month of February. The Commission's adopted operating expense for the current fiscal year is $796,843. Actual expenses processed through the first 8 months of this, of this fiscal year totaled $355,983, and suggests the Commission is on pace to finish the year with around $651,670 in total expenses and end with an operating surplus of $136,705. The Commission's total fund balance as of July 1st, 2018 was $595,796. Staff recommends for the Commission to accept and file the report and provide direction as needed to staff with respect to any matters for future consideration.
Any comments or on this item? Motion?
So move. Second.
Okay, motion made second. Discussion. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Well, this is going well. I
We
like
saw
it.
this in policy committee, so
And
we went through this once before.
excuse me, Commissioners, please, just a reminder, if you want to speak into the mic, you have to press a button right next on the base of it.
Which button? It's on air?
Green.
Yes.
On the right of the other
Microphone. Did you see it right here?
microphone. Yeah.
Okay.
So the green
That you
light comes on.
Yep. How are you?
Thank you.
Welcome.
Sorry I'm late, guys.
Lucky Mayor Dublin who just lucked out on the weather. Congratulations.
Always order it.
You ordered it ahead of time.
Okay, we are moving along. And the next item is the adoption of the final study schedule for 2019 through 2024. This is a public hearing. We'll have a report from staff to start off.
Thank you. The item returns to the Commission from its initial viewing in January and after a subsequent 45-day public review and comment period. It remains relatively intact from its first reading with the exception of 2 items: the review of broadband service as a municipal service, and at the request of the Alameda County Resource Conservation District to adjust the study schedule to include a municipal service review on the district by 2021. Albeit these 2 inclusions, the Commission has received no further comments from the general public or local agencies during the review period. The proposed study schedule provides for the review and update of all 14 cities and 33 special districts in Alameda County and includes a comprehensive fire protection and emergency medical services study, a community services study, a countywide police service study, a comprehensive Tri-Valley area study, a healthcare services study, and a study on Alameda County Resource Conservation District. The 5-year study schedule utilizes a new approach to managing and telegraphing LAFCO's planning requirement to regularly perform and focus on regional municipal service reviews to inform sphere of influence updates. The final study schedule draws on staff's observations in reviewing agency work in the earlier cycles, as well as identifying potential boundary and governance issues of interest over the cover period. Staff recommends the Commission adopt the final study schedule with any desired changes. I'll return the item to the Chair for Commission discussion and answer any questions, and then to open the public hearing.
Any requests for any items discussion on this comments? All right, then I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak?
As we all look at the public over here.
I think the public says no, okay, so we will move on. Close the public hearing and open for discussion or any changes on this item.
Again, we went through this at policy. So I move alternative 1.
My only comment is I recently went to the District Day event at the Alameda County Conservation District, which was fascinating what they're getting into and what they've accomplished. I think they've been a very lively agency. They're working with everybody to make things do well in our area. Set a good example, so I think it's a good thing they were added to the list. That's my only comment, so thank you. All right, with that, all those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, the next item is the dissolution of the San Lorenzo Library County Service Area and Livermore, boy, do I remember this one going back, the Livermore Amador Valley Sewer Study County Service Area.
A tongue twister. The Commission initiated the dissolution of the San Lorenzo Library County Service Area and the Livermore Amador Valley Sewer Study County Service Area at its last regular meeting. And following with Senate Bill 448, a bill passed to streamline the process for LAFCOs to dissolve inactive special districts, one public hearing must be held, and this is what we're doing today. An inactive district must meet all of the following criteria set forth in Government Code Section 56042, which states, it is the special district as defined in Government Code Section 56036. The special district has no financial transactions in the previous fiscal year. It has no assets and liabilities and has no outstanding debts, judgments, litigation, contracts, liens, or claims. Now, both the San Lorenzo Library CSA and the Livermore Amador Valley Sewer Study CSA were included in Alameda LAFCO's municipal service reviews in 2005 and 2006, respectively, and determined inactive. Both are dependent special districts and were used as financing sources for special projects and studies. Their status has remained unchanged since those MSRs were prepared, and the county has a pending application with LAFCO to dissolve the districts. Staff has consulted with the county auditor's office and the county public works department, which has agreed with staff's determination that pursuant to Government Code Section 56042, the districts were inactive and should be dissolved. Protest proceedings are not required, and staff would like to make one amendment to the resolution that while there still remains no need to designate a successor agency under Government Code Section 57451, the county will automatically be named the successor given that the county encompasses both districts. Staff also finds the project is exempt under CEQA pursuant to Section 15061A of the CEQA guidelines due to the lack of physical effects on the land, use, or environment as a result of the jurisdictional change. With that, staff recommends the Commission move to adopt the draft resolution approving the dissolutions of the San Lorenzo Library County Service Area and the Livermore-Amador Valley Sewer Study County Service Area. I'll return the item to the chair for any feedback or questions from the commission, and then to open the public hearing.
All right, any questions from the public? Any questions from the board? Looks like it's going to be, I'll open the public hearing in case the public change their mind. The public is nodding no. So I will close the public hearing and ask if there's any discussion on this item.
I checked with the Livermore staff and confirmed that there was no one working there that recalls what this actually was.
Well, it's been a long time.
Inactive
John.
since 1987.
You were in a different role.
Yes.
Yes.
But so I was actually at the other water agency at the time. But yeah, there's no one there that even recalls what this was.
Okay.
Remember there was something going on, but
And the county, I assume, wanted that addition added?
Yes.
Okay, all right. With that, the public hearing's closed. I'll ask for a motion.
I would like Commissioner Georgine Von Heater-Leopold to make the motion, and maybe Pico can second it. Would that be okay? Or you want to do it the other way?
I can't, I'm an alternate.
Oh, okay.
You can second a motion.
We
No, I
can?
can't.
Yeah.
No,
I
we
don't
can't,
think you
no,
can.
we can't make a motion, we can't
Yeah.
second.
We want him legal. We want this legal guy.
Okay,
so we're going
Georgine,
to
make
do
the
it.
motion.
I can't either, I'm the same.
Oh, you're the
position
alternate as well?
I'm the alternate.
I'll make the motion.
There we
I'll second.
All right.
go. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? They voted
I just
for
thought
it.
it would be, I just thought it'd be historical if they did.
Just
I'm an alternate, but Thorne isn't here, so I guess I qualify as.
Just a comment, was this the study that was looking at trying to provide water for Dory Valley and some of that extension back in?
Sewer.
A sewer pipeline.
So, I mean, the sewer.
It was strictly
This
sewer.
was Campbell's way of trying to increase capacity. That's what I remember.
Is that what's
It's
happening?
quite a while
It's
ago.
a
It was sewer.
precursor to
That was
And
it.
I hate to
TWA,
think
isn't
that
it?
I'm the one that remembers this.
It's
because
a precursor to
I know there was
TWA.
sewer for North
This is
Livermore.
making me very old.
There was
No,
sewer for
no,
North
no, no.
Livermore is what it was.
So I was on county staff when this was done. This
Good.
is this was actually a funding mechanism. Back in those days, there was something called Special Districts Augmentation Fund. So you form a CSA to allow the Board of Supervisors to take funds from other special districts and put them into a new special district. That's how, this was initially done to study export sewage from the valley, to pick the best route. It ultimately went back to FDNF.
But I think it was also looking for capacity.
Right,
Yes, it was.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That was what it was all about. I remember that.
That's what it's been all about for 40 years.
Well, what makes it unusual? Things have changed, though. Okay.
And that area is now outside the urban growth boundary of Livermore.
Put it this way, it is now totally dead. We just did
If we
that.
make them, if we.
Excellent.
Voted on, they already voted.
Excellent thing to do.
Voted for it.
Okay, having killed off those two, let's go to item 8, and that is the adoption of the proposed work plan and budget for 2019, 2020. This is the public
Scott
hearing.
and I don't know who
Staff?
the second was.
I know, it was David and Rob, they didn't vote. They didn't vote.
Did they have, do we do the motion or not? That we did.
I believe we had the motion, but I don't recall you voting, actually.
Yeah, I didn't either.
All right.
Albert insisted.
Let's have a vote on the motion then. Let's make sure we killed it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now, it's
Yeah.
dead. We all agree.
Thank you.
Never to hear again, we hope. Oh, well. You're right, Georgine. You never know. Right now, item 8 is the adoption of the proposed work plan and budget for 2019, 2020, and this is a public hearing also.
This item is for the commission to consider adopting a proposed operating budget and work plan for the upcoming fiscal year. Adoption would immediately follow a formal public review and comment period to LAFCO's local funding agencies and general public, with final action to be taken at the commission's next regular meeting in May. The proposed operating budget sets expenses at $793,880, a net decrease of $2,963 from the current fiscal year. Proposed operating revenues match operating expenses and is covered by drawing down reserves consistent with the practice to help offset sizable increases to agency contributions. The net effect would be a decrease of $14,464 in contributions. Notable adjustments in expenses can be attributed to the salaries and benefits unit with a 2.5 increase due to the full-time staffing of all its current employees, and the addition of hiring a full-time analyst / clerk at an annual salary of around $81,000. Also, the services and supplies unit will show a 17.5% decrease that can be attributed to reduction in legal services by $10,000 and planning services by $20,000 based on recent trends and demands. And lastly, the internal service charges unit shows an 87.5% increase over the next fiscal year to account for any office-based changes as a result of LAFCO's MOU negotiations with the county. Accompanying the proposed budget is a proposed work plan that outlines 26 specific projects divided between statutory and administrative duties. The majority of the projects are new, with several remaining items continued from current and previous fiscal years. Each project ranges from high, moderate to low urgency and include the MOU update with the county of Alameda, informational report of JPAs, and a new LAFCO agency logo. With that, staff recommends to adopt the draft resolution approving the proposed budget and work plan for the fiscal year 2019-2020 and initiate a formal public review and comment period with the final budget to be adopted at the Commission's May 9th meeting. I'll return the item to the chair for Commission discussion and answer any questions.
Okay, any questions or comments? And with that, I will open to the public. Is there any public comment on the budget at this time? The work plan? No? All right, I will close the public hearing and I'm open for discussion. Supervisor Haggerty?
Yeah, I'm just curious, if we go ahead and we adopt this, if you do anything, so let me be specific, it's easier. Under salaries and benefits, and you adding additional employees, will that come back to us for approval, or if we approve the budget, you assume we can do it?
I will definitely have you approve the job description and the steps for the analyst and clerk.
Is that, I'm trying to figure out as much, this meeting is gonna take all of 30 minutes, and I personally am trying to figure out why we need full-time clerks. So, I'm afraid that by the answer, you're implying that you will hire the person, but you'll bring back the job descriptions to us. And I'm wondering if we will have the authority over the hiring, or by this budget, we're giving you the authority.
With this budget, I believe the executive officer will have the authority to hire the analyst and clerk, but it would need to be approved, the job title and the job itself and the description would have to be approved by the commission.
Yeah, I'm afraid of that, because I think we need to have a more comprehensive discussion on, do we really need full-time employees with the amount of work that this LAFCO does? And I don't feel like we've had that full comprehensive, I'm talking to some members here, but I don't think we've had that full comprehensive discussion yet. And so I would be afraid to, I don't mind doing the cost of living, but when it starts talking about hiring of employees, and we look at, we meet once every other month? Every month. Once every month, and meetings, the long meetings last an hour and a half. I'm just struggling to see why we need to be hiring full-time people.
Why don't we get an answer to this, because obviously we're not part of the office. We do only meet occasionally and with subcommittees.
Right.
So why don't we have a description of perhaps of what this job would entail, the hours they would work, and what they would be doing. Does that seem reasonable?
Thank you, Chair. So I hope the meeting times don't dictate the work that LAFCO does. A lot of LA LAFCO, their meetings last 20 minutes, and I know they have a lot of work to do as well. So I don't want that to dictate the work we're doing behind the scenes. But for this, the budgeting for the full-time clerk and analyst, this was based from our meeting with the county during our MOU negotiations. And they determined that if we wanted to move forward with our own classifications, that we should have full-time staff. And I budgeted for that just towards the end of this fiscal year. Now, moving after that, we'll have also an analyst slash clerk that will be full-time, and we'll see how that works. And then if we need to fulfill and have another full-time position, we can, following the fiscal year 2020, 2021.
So you're saying this year will give us a chance to analyze the position and the need for anything further?
Absolutely.
Because we have been contracting, or we've been using county staff. If we do move ahead for autonomy, we will not be using county staff, but we have our own staff.
We will still be using county staff, but they will have LAFCO designation so that they can't be moved to, let's say, another position.
It will be working for
We have
us
to fund
full-time.
this.
So just to clarify, is the budget, is the headcount budget the number of people doing hours of work for this body changing, or is it a shift? And if it's a change and more people are spending more hours on this body, let's discuss that. If it's a question of, instead of the county paying for it, we're paying for it, and now it's dedicated instead of shared, which is what I think I heard. It comes down to me is, are we spending more money as an agency, or is more level of effort being put into or paid for by this group or not? It sounds to me like it's more of a shift, but I want to confirm.
All right, I think clarification is what.
Clarification, yeah.
Yes.
I would say it's a little bit of both. It's a shift because we're having our own classifications, but also through the work plan, there's a lot of projects that the analyst and clerk can take up on until the end of the year. So there will be more work that they will be doing to counteract the level of staffing hours.
And those projects are more than we've had in the past?
Correct.
And why is that?
From the work plan, there's 26 projects. I know from looking at past reports and schedules, I don't think it amounted to that much. So we're just trying to, get a robust schedule going, and this is also taking from the strategic plan too.
As I recall, projects come and go, and some years we're doing lots of work on COIs and other things, and sometimes it just goes up and down. So if we hire staff, the other thing I think about anytime you hire headcount is to say, if our workload is going to go up and down, will we have flexibility to flex and alter the amount of hours that we hire accordingly? Like, are we gonna add headcount and then be stuck with it if project level works go down in the future? Or how are we handling that?
So for right now, by July 1st, 2019, we will have 3 full-time staff: the executive officer, the commission clerk, and the analyst. By the end of December 31st, 2019, we will just have the executive officer and hopefully, possibly a full-time analyst and clerk. And that we'll see in how we can navigate the workload, if we need to add an additional staff member or not. And we'll gauge it, I believe, from there.
Commissioner Johnson.
Right. So I think what we're trying to do is we have 2 employees over here, are county employees right now with county job descriptions. Part of our negotiations with the county is that we change those job descriptions so they're unique to LAFCO. So it's going to be a county position, but it's going to be a LAFCO job description, much like we have now for the administrator. Their time in the past has been budgeted at full time. The county administrator chose not to use that to a full-time extent. And I think we're just budgeting full-time with the anticipation that we will have workload to actually use their full-time.
Yes, Kendario.
I think, Commissioner Johnson, we sat in the meeting with the county administrator's office. Oh, sorry. No, it's not. Now it's on.
Oh.
Sorry about that. And I think there's a couple things that Commissioner Johnson touched upon. One is, it was very clear the county wants to budget for the positions. That's very clear because we know the impending retirement, we know that, we understand it, so we've always budgeted, we continue to budget. Joni was insistent on that, advocate. But we understood that it wasn't necessary that we would have 3 positions filled. We knew we had to have someone who is a clerk, we know we have to have an analyst, we know we have to have an executive officer. Doesn't mean it's 3 people, it doesn't mean it's 1 person, it could be half and half, servicing that position. But we also recognize that with our workload, that we have hired outside consultants. So we know with the workload that there will be some work that we hope can be done by the analyst position. But we wanted the flexibility to know that if we could expand or contract as needed, we had it in the budget. That's what that was, am I summarizing it correct? That was our discussions with the county.
Okay, so that was sort of a consensus
Yeah.
position?
Yeah.
All right.
One more
Does
question.
that help?
Not really. So, let me understand this, because something was said. Where are we at with this whole autonomy issue? Because I thought, last meeting, maybe I misunderstood, but I thought we were kind of moving away from that. Did I misunderstood when I read? Are we still pushing?
No, we're not. We've entered in negotiations with county.
Right. So I don't understand why, the comment was made if we move towards autonomy.
Well, yes, no.
I'm trying to figure out, I thought we killed that at the last
Yeah,
meeting.
we did.
Yeah, this is about within our budget, so we can identify, if these are job descriptions that are for LAFCO, that are permanent versus people floating in and out of the county administrator's office. We thought that was important as a specification.
And evidently the county agreed.
Yes.
All right, all right. It seems to me like we're trying to budget carefully, be aware of the job load, and have people who this is their desired role.
So just so I can try to understand this, and then, it's not like we don't have time, but, so this assumes that, just as it says in the staff report, three people, and then at some point, one of those full-time equivalents are going away, and we'll be back down to 2? Is that what we're saying?
So that would be correct. By January 1st of 2020, we'll have 2 full-time staff members.
Why, okay, then it does beg the question, why do we need 3 and then go to 2?
This is from the county's directive that we need to have full-time 3 staff members to budget for the MOU negotiations to have our own classifications. So we need to budget for a full-time staff for those 3.
I just, to me, it doesn't make sense, because I've had discussions with Susan, and if I remember right, it's fine, so, but I thought the last executive director recommended we go to a half person, which we did. And so now I don't know why all of a sudden the county is dictating that we have to have, 3 full-time staff here. That doesn't make sense to me at all. So I don't know if there's a disconnect, but personally, I'd like some time to be able to go back and talk to Susan.
I think
Or because I wish Joni was here.
This was on the directive of Joni at our last ad hoc committee meeting. So we're working in negotiations with Joni right now. If we want to move forward, then I will give an update on the MOU negotiations and we can discuss that. But this was at the directive of the county through Susan, and Joni relayed that.
Okay, so I'm just saying that it seems a bit odd that at one point Susan is saying a half person, and then all of a sudden now the county is dictating 3 people.
Well,
Ralph Johnson.
I think it's a matter of budgeting nomenclature. If we have our own unique positions for LAFCO, we have to budget them at full time. Right now, we don't have unique positions for LAFCO. We have just general county positions. And they're budgeted in the county at full time, and we may use them part time. I think that's what Joni is telling us. If we have our own unique positions, we have to budget, put money in the budget for full-time positions. And whether we use them as full-time positions or not is maybe that's another question. And I think what she's saying is because budgetarily, if we're going to have our own positions, we have to actually budget for them as full-time positions.
I think there's the opportunity that you could possibly find someone who could be a half-half person, have the proper training, but they would definitely be LAFCO. And I think we're gonna have the opportunity to find that out as we get through the budget this year. Is that okay?
No, it's not helping me. I mean, I'm not gonna vote for it. I'm
Okay.
feeling like I'm against government getting bigger, and all of a sudden, this LAFCO is starting to get bigger, and I don't see the reason. I just don't see it, so it's
Well-
fine. Reasonable people can disagree, as Supervisor Malley constantly tells me, and we'll just disagree, and y'all can pass this budget, but I think it's
And
crazy.
maybe you can get more information, because this is not the final action. You know, we're going to come back on May 9th. Right.
And
with
maybe
final
the
vote.
commission would like some more information too.
And certainly we can have a report from the subcommittee. That makes sense? All right, with that, there is a recommendation that we approve the proposed budget and work plan for 2019, 2020. Any desired changes? No? Okay, and that it will come back for final action on May 9th. Do I hear a motion? Johnson? And Longoria, second. Further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
So I just want to be clear, I'm moving to allow this to move to public review.
Okay,
And comment period.
Certainly.
And the final vote on the actual budget is May 9th.
absolutely.
Okay.
I think everybody will have time to gather more information and have maybe another presentation on the whole discussion, where it is at this point. Okay, all those in favor, again? Aye. And that was unanimous.
I know, I'm abstaining.
And abstention from Supervisor Miley. Okay,
What was Scott's vote?
then we're going to move on to informational items.
Oh, okay. Excuse me, I want to clarify if Commissioner Hagley voted approval of that, or
Excuse me, Chair, the clerk would like to know what was Commissioner Haggerty's vote.
I think it was a yes, just with,
I didn't answer no.
okay, then, it's a no, and you abstained, right? And Supervisor Miley abstained.
okay, thank you.
Okay? With that, we will move on to informational items, current and pending proposals.
Thank you, Chair. So we have two new proposals on file with LAFCO, an annexation application to provide wastewater services to a planned residential area of 57.5 acres located in the city of Newark to the Union Sanitary District, and an outside service extension of 27489 and 2744 Fairview Avenue to the city of Hayward for wastewater services as well due to a failed septic system. Both proposals will be noticed at our next regular meeting in May. And if there's no questions on that item, I will move with the strategic plan update. So just stop me if you have a question, please.
Anybody have a question? Let me know, please.
For the strategic plan update, there's just one detail that I would like to highlight, and that is that QK has completed the majority of its data acquisition phase and is currently drafting the profiles and comparisons of each agency for past studies and current metrics. Staff should expect a draft document by June. And for the legislative update, not much for LAFCO on the legislative front as of yet, with the exception of Cal LAFCO's call for action to support AB 213. That would reinstate funding for inhabited annexations through vehicle license fee adjustments, and AB 1253, which would allow for the reimbursement of the mandatory dissolutions of inactive special districts pursuant to AB 448, which we just completed. And these letters, along with Cal LAFCO's bill tracking report, can be viewed in attachment 1 and 2 of the staff report. And then moving on to the Memorandum of Understanding with the county, the MOU ad hoc committee has met with the county and outlined a term list of themes that LAFCO would like to move forward with that would address any operational needs. They are from requesting LAFCO classifications or designations for its employees within the county system to seeking its own office space. Speaking on behalf of the committee, staff believes the county is agreeable in moving forward with these terms, and the committee is currently working with the county to implement the specifics and ensure each item is translatable within the county system. Our next meeting is scheduled for March 25th, and we are working hard to reach the terms before our set deadline of June 30th. And if there's any other comments from the committee members, they may speak on that or add to that as well.
Does the committee have any comments at this time? Supervisor Haggard?
I'm sorry if I'm bothering you there. So I'm just wondering, maybe I misheard you. Did you say the county is amenable to you getting your own office space?
Yes.
Can I?
This is crazy. I'm just adding money here, just.
All right.
Our budget's
You
under.
know, I really would appreciate if everybody one at a time is easier. Why don't we go to Nate, please, next, and
Yeah,
Glenn.
I need to finish
So you have to turn it green.
Turn the other one.
Okay, yeah, just, you know, I'm here as LAFCO Commissioner, but I just want to say, as a county supervisor, I have no knowledge of the county being amenable to anything, because nobody in the county administrator's office has spoken to me about this. So I'm just saying, the county administrator working for the board of supervisors. So to say the county's amenable to something, as a county supervisor, I'm aware of it, I think is kind of, I'm not saying it's disingenuous on your part, but whoever's telling me that, they have not talked to the board of supervisors. I just want you to know that.
Okay. So it would be county staff perhaps is minimal
right.
at this stage.
Thank you, Commissioner.
That was clarification, so that's fine. Glenn?
So in terms of the office space, it made it sound like our own space. What was discussed was moving to Hayward, to the CDA office. That's what was, apparently there's more space.
Can you turn your
available
microphone on?
space.
You need to turn it
Oh,
on.
sorry about that.
That's okay.
All right.
We all keep
So-
it in.
Yeah, so the idea was that, and I correct if I'm wrong, that in the county administrator's office in Oakland, it's a little constrained, but there's available space in Hayward in the CDA office. That's what we discussed, and that seemed agreeable to us if there's more room there than in Oakland. And none of us balked at that, said that's fine. We still we don't know the terms of what they would charge us. That was be our next meeting, but if it's a matter of space constraint, we felt Hayward works just as well as anything else.
Everybody?
So why would we do that? I mean, here we are, we meet in the Tri-Valley, and the reason we do that, because when I first got here, we met in Hayward. We met at where the Planning Commission meets in Hayward. And we decided to move out here because the majority of the actions because of the Tri-Valley. So if we have a golden opportunity to move, and I think I mentioned this at the last meeting, to move, why wouldn't we move to the Martinelli Center where really that's, or somewhere in Livermore where the majority of the action is happening? I don't understand this. Why moving to Hayward, does that help us at all?
I think it's a halfway point, and for staff, we would still need to go to Oakland to file notice of exemptions, notice of determinations, meet with the county assessor. So it's a halfway point for those in the Tri-Valley area and for staff to also get to Oakland.
As a chair and a person that lives here in the valley, obviously this is convenient for me, but more importantly, it's very convenient for a lot of constituents because a lot of the action is in this area. And when we needed to, in the case of the Eden case, we went pretty easily over to Pastor Valley, and I think nobody objected to those meetings. I thought it was very helpful because I think we had a great turnout that we wouldn't have had if they had to go to Hayward or Oakland. As far as I can tell, whenever it's been felt important to move to another place so that the public could attend, we've done it. But I agree with Haggerty that somewhere out here, whether it's the Martinelli Center or perhaps the fairgrounds, if there's a spot there, that would be maybe better for staff and for people coming from all over. But if you look at the membership here, most of us are connected with where most of the items happen. Occasionally there's one in Oakland that's rare. So that's just and I'm open for more discussion. Anybody else with opinions or thoughts?
Just
Yeah.
that this was really a proposal from Joey. They basically said they're okay with moving staff from the county administrator's office. She suggested CDA as an alternative. that's just for the staff would be, I don't think anybody has talked yet about where our actual meetings would be. I think we're fine with meeting here or at Dublin San Ramon in the future for the commission meetings.
I don't think, maybe when it was presented, had it say move to other county offices as opposed to move to other offices, we probably could have avoided some of this discussion. But I'm going to agree with Supervisor Miley on this, that as a member of the county, we have no idea this is going on. I mean, other than what we hear here, and I think that there should be, Joni doesn't speak for us. I mean, I love Joni, okay, I want to be clear. But Joni seems to be way out there with checking in with the bosses.
Exactly.
Oh, well, let's don't get Joni in trouble. but
I
she-
said I
she
love
can
her. I
defend
mean,
herself
I don't
pretty
have any
well.
problem with Joni. She's sat over
I-
there for many years, so I'm fine.
I think the committee has been meeting with the county. They seem to have had earnest meetings. I think some discussion we've heard today will probably go back to those discussions. But it should be the clarification that obviously the county board of supervisors has to be included in all of this so that they are aware, and as all of us. Yes.
So I appreciate, your comments,
Yeah.
because we need feedback. One of the items was, should we put this on the agenda? We need to check in with everyone. We weren't committing to any specific location, we were reporting what the discussion was, and we actually, I think afterwards, the committee discussed Martinelli Center, and, we said, well, it's a choice, but are we inconveniencing other folks when,
Yeah.
again, we want to discuss it, we knew there was other choices, but when Joni offered that there's room in CDA okay, that's not a bad choice, then that's all we're reporting.
Just for the staff.
That's all we're reporting.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to say that out at the Martinelli Center, there is a beautiful CDA office, beautiful, that is used one day a week for 4 hours.
Come on.
And it is a beautiful office. So, this is maybe what Joni's not thinking about, but to me, it seems like LAFCO would be better positioned out in Livermore.
All right, I think again, that's more information that can go back to the committee. And when are you next scheduled to meet? Do we have a date?
25th?
March 25th.
March 25th, so I think there's clarification come today that obviously the Board of Supervisors would like to be informed of where the discussions are at that stage. And if you have anything further to add, please do that.
Okay.
Supervisor Myers.
I apologize for not being on top of this. We've been dealing with a lot of issues
You have a
and
lot of
matters.
issues.
So, I'm sure Supervisor Hagerty will definitely be following up with the county administrator about this, because, totally. I just feel I'm not even briefed on this from the county
Okay.
side, and it's kind of
Okay.
annoying me.
Well-
Because I'm not annoying you folks, I'm annoyed at our folks for not briefing us.
Well, and I think we can all appreciate that. One always likes to be informed. Yes, Georgine.
I'd just like to speak up for the
Yeah, open your
commuters.
mic.
For the commuters, one of the reasons we really didn't discuss in depth Martinelli was you have 3 staff members that would have to drive clear out to God's country.
But it's beautiful country.
It's counter commute anyway.
Not anymore.
Oh, really?
Not
Oh, I'm
anymore.
sorry.
But that was one of the considerations for not moving the offices way out there, was we had 3 staff that would have to commute way out there to their office.
And I
Well,
know,
maybe we get Bart to Livermore then.
oh my, we are pretty big,
In
aren't
my
we?
lifetime or Pete's?
And I have no idea, does the fairgrounds have space where they could have an office? That seems
Maybe
something,
Nate and I can move things around at the Heritage House.
I don't know,
I'm
but
being honest.
that would be
That would be
an
perfect.
interesting place too.
The only thing about the fairgrounds,
The only thing about the fairgrounds is the fair. And that, when you have an office there during fair time, although it's got great access to corn dogs, that's about the only perk. It's a real pain to get in and out, and I don't know that we really want a government
Okay,
building in there, but I'm sure it's something that we should look at, because I think it's a great idea. And
But
I
if you're-
do know that the city of Dublin is constantly looking to lease space in your new building that you're building, correct? Correct?
I'd have to ask our,
Okay.
sure, we have space.
I think what we're saying is we're open for where the offices could be located, and y'all will be discussing that.
Right,
Lenore.
so if I can speak for Ralph, if we can just ask, do a little investigation about some choices that have been raised here, as
Alternative site.
alternatives, and what's, I mean, I want to be sensitive, as Georgine mentioned, to the staff too. I mean, I live out, I'm the closest resident to the Martin Ellis Center. So,
You are indeed.
So, but, I want to be respectful of,
Yeah.
somebody driving from Oakland to get to a 2 o'clock meeting, there's issues there, and I'm sensitive, I want to be sensitive to that, that's all. I
Okay.
think we're all want to be sensitive to that, but let's look at options, let's see what's out there, what's available.
Absolutely, thank you.
Okay, and let's just make sure everybody who needs to be is informed of how things are going along. And if any other people have suggestions, by all means, make them to committee members. So
I
there's
was
a,
not aware of the office space available at Martinelli, but we're looking for a place for office as well as meetings.
That's a
We
wonderful
continue meetings
site.
here.
The Martinelli office is, it's CDA's office, really nice.
it's a beautiful spot. I was at the meeting that a couple of weeks ago there, and it's a very, I enjoy seeing the turkeys and everything else out the windows when you've got music.
And the wildlife too, right?
The wildlife is just really doing really well out there.
We were there yesterday, Supervisor and I.
Okay, well, anyway, good luck. Thank you, members, for being part of this process. It's all well worthwhile, but taking a little time. Okay, next item.
Just an announcement with commissioners with terms ending in May 2019. We have Chair and Lee Scamp, Commissioner Haggerty, and Commissioner Hobart. And lastly, big announcement. Please turn in your Form 700s. They are due April 1st. Please remember to turn them in to our office.
Our clerk of the board, I know, is going to attempt to do that.
So that is a question, I don't know the answer to
Certainly.
it. If we file a Form 700 electronically, like he's asking us to do, do we have to submit to each individual organization?
They just told us that we had to send them on a copy of
Who
it.
they?
A copy.
Well, like to LAFCO, that's the only one, other committee that I have to send one to.
I have to file for all four.
Oh, I have to file for like 15, but I'm trying to figure out if you do it now. There's been discussions that if you do it electronically,
I only do one electronically and the other two have to be filed by mail.
that's what you do?
I think that's what I was warned by our attorney.
Can you find out?
Okay?
Thanks.
Yes. Supervisor Milo.
Yes, there used to be an item on the agenda, comments or actions initiated by commissioners. Am I mistaken about that?
It should be on there, but if it
That's
is
looking
not,
for it.
that's an apology of mine.
Because I was looking forward to say something I'm going to say. If it's not just on the agenda, I guess I
I
can't
think
say.
it's got lost in the last little bit, but that's all right. Certainly, if there's any item that the commissioner would like to bring up, it should be listed there.
Can I say
You
something?
certainly may. As a chair, I give you permission.
We'll put it under public comment, how about that?
I think we're going to allow it, commissioners to have comments. Please go ahead.
Yeah, most of you know I represent a good portion of the unincorporated communities, urban unincorporated communities. And so I have an initiative over the last 10 years called the E-Learning and Building Initiative. And part of that initiative has been looking at governance in the unincorporated area. There was an effort around Castro Valley Corporation, which came to LAFCO about a decade or more ago. And folks eventually voted it down, the folks of Castro Valley. So we've been working on governance, continuing to work on governance. People are concerned about having more ability to be engaged in decision making. So we're going to be undertaking a review of the unincorporated area relative to annexation, community service districts, incorporation, et cetera, in the entire unincorporated area. So we're not just looking at Castro Valley, but the entire unincorporated area, and also determining whether or not different segments of the unincorporated area would want to be incorporated not, or if the whole area does. So I just wanted to bring that to the attention of the commissioners, because I'll be talking to the executive director to be engaged in some of those conversations with my office and folks in the community. Yeah. And it doesn't mean anything's going to come of it, but it's all being explored.
It's a worthy effort, but good luck.
Yeah.
How's that? No, it is a worthy effort, because I think you've got a lot of areas that still do not have the services that they would like to have and deserve to have, so.
Yeah, and I think folks have heard me say, and it's not to say this will happen, but the unincorporated community, if it were one jurisdiction, it would be the fourth largest city in the county. Only Hayward, Oakland, and Fremont would be larger.
Okay, all right. Any other commissioner has an item that they would like to bring before us? And we'll be sure that we include that on the next agenda, not to worry. Okay, the next meeting that is mentioned is the Policy and Budget Committee meeting, and that is April 4th, and the city of Dublin is kind of giving us space for that.
And I believe it'll take place right around the corner for those commissioners. I
The
believe
regional operations room.
the regional
It's right here.
operations room.
You turn right.
It's a parade room.
Okay, and then, of course, the meeting with the county is going to take place March 25th, was it?
Correct.
And that will be where?
At the Alameda County Council's office.
Okay. Is there anything further to be brought before the board? Commissioner? No? With that, I declare the meeting is adjourned.
So today, the county law school against because of the issue.
And Nate, Scott, I want to say that I do support this for the meeting. I thought this was a very different approach maybe.
Oh, is that,
To do some good things.
Meeting adjourned, I guess.
When it-